So in the last episode, we talked about putting new headlights on the race car and different body changes I've done to the nose and suspension changes and all kinds of changes to get ready for the race that I'm doing on January 11th at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I'll be competing in round 1 of the Autocross series at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, so I'm doing everything I can to get this car finished so it is ready to run. My filming schedule for this past week has gone a little bit differently than I normally do my videos. See, every episode of this show is a week in my life. This past week though, I did some really tedious work that takes absolutely forever to do. I'm talking about making my own custom livery, as well as fixing a bunch of other stuff. Just like other race cars I've built in the past, I made my own custom livery here in-house. So how this works is you have these big sheets of vinyl. These come in a big roll. Then you make the design you want in Photoshop, export it as a PNG, send it to the sticker machine software. Then it cuts out your sticker using CNC, very similar to like a 3D printer or a CNC plasma cutter, basic stuff, and then you peel it off of the sticker sheet. Now sometimes you have to use transfer paper if you have a more intricate sticker. I've been doing liveries for quite some time at this point, so normally I just peel it off and try not to screw it up, but sometimes you do have to use transfer paper, which is really annoying. Doing your own livery takes a massive amount of time, especially the way that I do it. I'm assuming the majority of big race teams out there just have a vinyl shop print on the actual vinyl and then they just cut it out and stick it on the car. This is something that I did quite a few years ago. I worked with LA Wraps on a CBR I built to do a custom Light Designs entire livery for that bike. Light Designs Cult is my clothing line if you're unfamiliar, and I did a full livery on that bike and it came out really cool. The issue with that is you have to rely on a shop and it's very expensive.
From here I sent it over to LA Wraps, and right here you can see the actual graphic being printed out, and this machine right here is applying the gloss laminate. I requested a super high gloss, and what this is doing is applying a thin layer of clear vinyl wrap onto existing 3M vinyl wrap to make it like extra glossy and like extra pretty looking. Here it is out on the table. Super cool. That went great. I have my wrap, and I think I'm just gonna kind of put it behind my butt right here. It's on a tube, so it's super strong. Super uncomfortable, but in the scheme of riding a motorcycle full time, not too bad. Definitely pretty difficult because it's round. Okay, definitely really sketchy, but we're good. This is fine. Oh, I hit a bump. Let's open this up here. So cool.
not perfect. It never will be perfect. It's a race car. It's not a show car. I went with a similar color scheme to my last race car. I really love that rainbow chrome, white, and pink combo. I went for a little bit more of a vibrant pink this time. On my last race car, I had kind of like a baby pink. This is more of a fluorescent pink to match my harnesses. Speaking of harnesses, we now have a passenger seat that is in here. I didn't really film the process of building the seat bracket because you guys have already watched me build one seat bracket. But what I did, had a little bit of leftover seat channel from that trailer we found in the desert a few years ago. Yo, it's your boy. It's me. So yesterday, me and Mikey were out riding our dirt bikes in the open desert, and we found a trailer that has been abandoned in the open desert, which is not an uncommon thing. It's actually quite common here. It's got a lot of really good parts. And we don't want to be dicks. Like, to make a mess in the desert, so we're putting all the trash in the back of the truck so it doesn't make a big mess in the desert. Even though there's like a couch right there and a bunch of other random stuff, at least we're making a little bit of a positive impact. That actually went a lot smoother than I expected it to. Oh, I've been hanging on to the seat channel for a really long time because it's super thick and perfect to build really heavy duty stuff out of, like seat brackets. Because I've built this entire car, it's not really like I can just go on Amazon and buy seat brackets. I went with some Jegs hardback seats. They're pretty all right. They're not my favorite seats, but they're cheap and they work. They have really simple mounting on them, so they can fit in a variety of different home builds, which I like a lot. Essentially, all I did for the seat brackets is drill holes in the seat channel and then weld the seat channel to the frame. At the time of filming this right now, I still need to put in the passenger harness, but the majority of my week has been eaten up by doing the livery and coolant problems. Hey, Sheedy. So I bought something pretty cool last night. I bought another motorcycle. So this is a 2005 CBR 600RR, conveniently the exact same bike that my engine in my race car came out of. I found a good deal on this one that has been crashed and had a bunch of parts stolen off of it, but this is the perfect platform to have a spare engine and spare parts in case I mess anything up or break anything. This is really good peace of mind that I can drive as hard as I want knowing that I have a spare pretty much everything. So if I ever get tired of using the radiator that I currently am using, I could always just put on this radiator that's intended for this engine. The only thing that this bike doesn't have is it doesn't have a starting solenoid. So there's no starting solenoid on the harness, but other than that, everything else is here. Ironically though, I am currently unable to drive my race car because I'm waiting on coolant line parts. As you've seen in the video series, I'm using these really cool metal coolant lines. You can probably see it through the windshield right here. There's one that comes down and then another one that goes down and loops around. These are really great, and I'm using the radiator out of a Geo Metro, which also works incredibly well. The problem is the diameter of those hoses is a 1/4 inch larger than all of the stock hoses on the motorcycle engine itself. So I have these adapter coupler pieces, which work really good if the car is sitting still. Any spirited driving, these are a major weak point of the car. So I ordered some exact diameter adapters, and those should be here either today or tomorrow. I want to tighten my chain. I feel like my chain is a little bit loose. I can feel it coming out of corners that I just have a little bit of chain slop. I've never tightened a chain on a ATV rear end before, so let's try and figure that out. I'll probably have to watch a tutorial, but we'll try and figure it out. I'll share what I learned from the tutorial in case your 20, 25, 26 Bad Neighbor Supply Co. custom race car ever gets a loose chain. This is kind of a nitpicky amount of chain problem, but it's just slightly too loose and it bothers me. I've spent a lifetime riding motorcycles and I can just feel this coming out of a corner because it like unseats itself to the side a little bit and I can feel it and it bothers me. So I do want to get just a tiny bit more grab. So from what I'm seeing online is you loosen these 4 bolts and then you quarter turn these 2 guys either forward and back, and that tightens it. The video I watched, the dude didn't lift the rear, which seems strange to me. I feel like you probably want to lift the rear, but I guess I'm not going to. We'll see how that goes. I have the old brake line I'm not using anymore just sitting here. I should probably take that off. I really need to get like a torque wrench here. Move the camera over. Okay, the guy on the tutorial was wrong, right? I don't know. You just want to quarter turn these. So we'll try it. I think I'm gonna go clockwise. 1. I guess that's more of a half turn. Whatever. 2. Yeah, dude, that's badass. That's actually like near perfect. I just gotta go a bit more just to make myself feel better. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I thought that was gonna be a lot more of a production. We're definitely going to be cutting it close with being ready in time for the race. The coolant hose issue is a pretty big issue. I can't drive around like that. It lasts for a little while, but they just keep popping off, and it's really unpredictable when they are going to pop off. And if they pop off on my stupid little abandoned parking lot I practice on down the street, that's one thing. But if they pop off on a track, that's a whole nother problem. I'm really hoping that UPS gets here like any minute so I can fix that.